this is Cindy from Stamped with Aloha. My paper pumpkin kit just arrived and I am going to use it today to show you my first alternate projects. So let's get started and I'll show you what I did with this month's kit. We're going to start our card with a 8 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of mint macaron cardstock. I'm going to fold this in half to give it a nice clean flat fold. The next thing that we're going to use is a piece of Whisper White cardstock. This is 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. I'm going to go ahead and add my adhesive to the back of this cardstock. And then I'm going to press this on the front of my card. For the next step, I took the card base that came in the kit. I went to my paper trimmer and I cut this in half. I cropped this piece here down to 3 1/2 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And then I took my die from the Be Mine Stitch dies and I ran this through my die cutting machine. The end result was a piece that looks like this. So I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to adhere this to the front of my card. So as I'm creating this card today, I'm thinking of my friend Laura Dubois, and Laura loves hearts. Actually, this card is going to be for her, but Laura just taught me the Laura's tape technique. I call it the Laura's tape technique. And you might have seen it if you watch my videos, but what you do is you take a piece of paper like this. This is a scrap piece of mint macaron cardstock. And then I'm just using some packing tape, clear packing tape. And then I'm going to line up 2 pieces of tape side by side. Okay. And then I'm going to turn this over and just smooth the tape out. If you have excess pieces, you can just tuck them underneath here, or you can cut them off with scissors. And then after you have that covered and it's nice and smooth, I'm going to take that exact same die, and then you want to just watch where the seam of the tape is. So depending on what your project is going to look like, but when I ran it through the machine, I ran it through this way so that seam is hidden in there. Another way that you can hide the seam is you could emboss this with an embossing folder, and that will take that seam right out. Okay, so now we have our Laura's tape technique, or the LTT as I call it, and we've made this beautiful, shiny, glossy mint macaron heart. Now, Laura is the master paper conservator. That's what I call her. And so I would have never done this, but I learned this from Laura because she loves to conserve her paper and make use out of them. So as I said, today's video is dedicated to her, so I'm trying to channel her while I'm making this card and thinking all the things she might do. So you could leave this like this, and of course you could take one of the words that came in the kit and put that on there, or you could, work with this white heart here, but we're actually going to cover that up. So I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock here that I'm going to do some stamping on. Now I am mixing in another stamp set for this card. I will be using the Posted for You because Laura is also known as Laura with Love, and so I wanted to use this sentiment here for her birthday, which said, "Sending love your way." So I'm going to be stamping with my Cherry Cobbler ink. So I'm going to ink up the words, and then I'm going to stamp them on the bottom of this white card. Okay, let me look at that. So, hey, that looks pretty straight. But if by chance you stamped it crooked, you can always flip it over and you have it on the other side. Hey, that's the magic of stamping. All right, so now I'm going to take and add some adhesive to the back here. And then I'm going to mount this to a piece of Cherry Cobbler. And this piece of Cherry Cobbler is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So I'm not sure if I told you, but the white piece is a 3 by 4 white piece. Okay, so now I have this on there like so. For the next step, I'm going to take these 2 layers, I'm going to flip them over, and then I'm going to mount them onto the front of the card, covering up that heart. All right, so now we have our beautiful mint macaron glossy heart. This is going to come next. I'm going to add this on with some dimensionals. The next thing I'm going to use is this piece that came out of the paper pumpkin kit. It's this Whisper White cardstock that has been impressed with like a sweater pattern. So what I did with this is I placed another die from the Be Mine Stitch dies and I ran it through the die cutting machine. Then I have this little embossed heart that I'm going to apply to the front of my card. So for this, I'm going to apply this with glue dots. So I'm going to place a couple of glue dots, maybe 3 on there like that, and then this is going to come over here on the side so that it overlaps on this part of the card. All right, the next thing that I want to add is this cluster of flowers. Okay, and then I'm going to just tuck that on there like so. All right, so our card is almost complete. The last thing that I want to do is, because I know Laura loves hearts, and I'm going to use this German word here for love, which Laura did leave Hawaii and move to Germany at one time, so I'm not sure if she speaks German, but I am going to take off the L of that word and just use this for Laura's card as a monogram in tribute to her name, Laura. And so I'm going to pick this up with my Take Your Pick tool, and then I'll take my adhesive, and then I will just lightly put some adhesive on the back. Okay, and once you dot adhesive on there, then I'm going to flip this around, and I'm going to position this L right over that sweater heart. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to do is add some champagne rhinestones. So I'm going to add a medium one up here at the top. Then I'm going to add a large one right up here. And then I'm going to take a small one and do my signature move, what Laura calls my signature move, and I'm going to put one right there in the O of the word love. Okay, so there we go. This is my birthday card for Laura. So what I did with this card is I took the heart that I die cut out of this piece here, and I mounted onto the front of a note card that I had stamped with the flower image that comes in this month's Paper Pumpkin kit. I also used some of our heart punches. I punched out 2 punches and I stamped them with the word joy, which is a part of this month's Paper Pumpkin kit. I also stamped on a scrap piece of paper one of these same flowers. I colored it with some Stampin' Blend markers, fussy cut it out, and if you can see, I stamped it twice and I cut just the center of the flower out and layered it on top to give that flower some dimension. So this first card here is all about love and sending love to my friend Laura for her birthday. And this second alternative project has the love represented with that beautiful gold heart, but it also has a message of joy. And I think a message of love and joy is something that we should be sending not just at Christmas time, but definitely all throughout the year. Wouldn't you agree? So I hope that you enjoyed learning how to make these 2 alternate projects today. Now remember, this is just my first day working with my Paper Pumpkin kit, so I hope to have some more alternative projects to share with you again soon. Happy birthday to my friend Laura. I hope you like your card. And to everyone else, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to stamping with you again soon. Until then, aloha.